Good evening, everyone. This is so exciting. We're having a Mad Hatter's party, right? You know, the last time I think we seriously did this, did any of you remember Charlotte McLeod? No, she was a very good, oh dear, this is a younger crowd. She's a lovely woman. I'm a very good friend of Elizabeth Peters, and we had a tea at Arcadia, I'm sorry, I have my back to you guys. A tea at Arcadia Farms on the lawn, and it was a hat contest, and it was really fun. It was outside. So tonight we have an extra cool prize, which I will tell you about at the end, which I'm really excited about, which I managed to work out yesterday. So we are set. All right. So here you are, Jen.
Yes.
Hat Shop Mystery number 6.
Yes, number 6.
In London. Are you going to be sad to leave London for Paris? Because that seems to be the direction you're going.
I know. No, because London will always be there, I think. It'll hold for me.
So, how many of you watched the Westminster Kennel Show? I mean, it was really great. Although I really don't love the kennel show cut they give to poodles. I mean, well, a lot of people do, but I think they look really weird. So I was rooting for the golden retriever, you know. But the cutest dog, the absolute cutest dog, was the Havanese dog named Bono. He was just adorable. Anyway, that's all prelude to this book, because this book revolves around a canine dog. Canine show, dog show, right?
It does.
There's rivalries and actual murder.
Well, did you all see the movie Best in Show?
Yes.
There's some similarities there, obviously. There's a little nod to Best in Show. But and I was thinking of it the last few days. I'm like, where did I come up with this idea to write a dog show for a hat shop? And I have no idea. Zero. I'm guessing I probably saw a really cute dog in a hat and thought, how can I make that work? And I thought, dog show.
Well, I have to say
But I don't know.
that dressing the dogs in hats was a particularly clever thing to do. I didn't see any actual hats on dogs at the Westminster Kennel Show.
They're not cool.
Although some of their top knots, honestly, there was one dog that white hair, he had this big blue barrette, and the white hair went flying up in the air, and it was just, wow. So it could have been like, what do they call them in the UK? There's a name for the fascinator. It was like a
one
fascinator.
on front.
Yeah.
Does anybody have one on? Purple one is almost a fascinator. No, that is a fascinator.
Right, there's one
there's
over there. Right.
Oh, she's hiding.
Yeah, keeps stuck in her head. But anyway, it's really cute. But a couple of the dogs actually looked as though they were wearing fascinators. Yeah, right.
I think they abandoned fascinators from like Ascot and stuff. Like they weren't considered quite, you know.
It's something
Hoity-toity enough, I guess.
it's really true that excuse me, I think up through the 1950s in England, women just didn't show their hair. I mean, they really covered their, I'm sure that was in part a medieval thing, because hardly anybody ever got to like wash their hair.
Well, in the royal family, they weren't allowed to show their hair.
Right.
That's the whole hat for sure.
Yeah. And so the hat thing is carried on in that culture more so. In Paris, it's chic to wear a great hat.
Yeah.
You know?
It's styling.
Yeah. Right. You wear one of those pencil thin black dresses, then you have the really sweeping hat. I'm so short, I always look like a mushroom. and in the years where I wore glasses before my fabulous cataract surgery and telescoping implanted lenses, so I have the eyes of a hawk now. At 79, I can see better than when I was 8 years old. I'm serious. I can read stuff up on the wall. I can see like signed first editions, and you know, I can read Natasha Cooper up there and Susan Wittig Albert and all, but I can also read like that. So if you have to have cataract surgery, trust me on this. Ask about telescoping lenses. You have to pay extra for them, but they are totally worth it. And you never have to wear glasses again if they work. Right.
So they look forward to it.
Well, in Arizona, almost everybody ends up with cataract surgery. Is the reason I mention it, because the ultraviolet, or I think it's the ultraviolet light, isn't it? Right. If you were going to carry on with dogs, you could have like a whole glasses wearer thing.
Dogs are cute in glasses.
Right. So anyway, in your dog show, in which the hat shop is dressing the dogs in fabulous hats, there appears to be a villain, or at least possibly a guy who's contaminating dog food, or a rumor. We don't.
Yeah, or he was buying lesser quality.
Cheap dog food.
Cheap dog food. Yes,
Alright.
cheap ingredients.
So, an obvious murder victim.
Clearly, because he does not love dogs. Now he's dead.
Okay, right. So, tell us about the family dynamics that that get our heroine. What is this hat shop called? Mim's
It's
Whims?
Men's Whims. It's named after the grandmother who started the hat shop. She's passed on, and she has 2 granddaughters, which are Scarlett and Vivian. And Scarlett, when I first started to write the series, I wanted to write it from the British perspective. But the minute I sat down to pretend I was British, you need to be Reese. You guys read Reese Bowen? Yes. You need that, or Hannah Dennison, or somebody. And I couldn't fake it, and I couldn't pretend. I could watch all the, ab-fab TV shows I want, but I wasn't going to get it. So it was like, I'll make her an American, And then I think, actually, here I was talking about the idea, and somebody said, well, Americans can't own businesses in the UK. And I was like, I did not know that. Thank you so much. So that was when it was like a cousin, and they'll co-own. So, that's why writers, are acrobats. It's like, I will make this work. So it's her cousin and her, and she's kind of the people person, and the cousin is the one who can design the hats, because Scarlett is terrible at hat design, which saved me from having to learn more than necessary.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, I think, to stick with, the point of view from a person that you can make believable and send them into another culture.
Well, and then
It
you can
works
look
out.
at London from an outsider's perspective.
Right.
So there was a lot of, all the little weird British customs. You could kind of be like, do you really have to say cheers when you get off the bus? Yes, you do. Okay.
Yeah.
And for this series, this is the only mystery series I've written in first person.
Right.
Which was interesting too. So it made her even more of a tourist, So that was fun.
At least the dogs aren't in first person.
No, and I didn't get in their point of view either.
Sort of. Okay, so Scarlett has gotten engaged
She
to
has.
Harry,
Yes, Harry.
which sends her into constant state of trance to the annoyance of all around her, right?
Yes, got the big Harry Winston.
Was that also sort of a magical projection, the Harry Winston engagement ring?
Well, it's so funny when I started this, Harry,
Yeah.
Prince Harry, wasn't, Meghan wasn't even on that boy's radar, so it was kind of like, it was fun to play with, Harry, And now I'm just like, wow, things have really changed since the series started. I think there's small references to the hat shop helping the royal family, so it's like, oh, the duchesses were in buying hats together, and then, if you read the tabloids, well, that didn't happen. Who knows? I don't know.
Maybe now you can move the hat shop to Canada.
We'll go to Toronto. Woo!
There we go.
Vancouver.
Right. So anyway, Harry has an aunt, a much beloved aunt, right?
Aunt Betty.
Aunt Betty. And so Aunt Betty is the person who owns the corgi, right?
Yeah, she wants
Is
to
it corgi or corgi?
I say corgi.
It's corgi, isn't it?
Corgi.
All right, so she has this adorable Welsh corgi. And the adorable Welsh corgi in a hat is going to enter the show and has a pretty good shot, maybe, at being best in show, right?
Right.
Except,
Except, Aunt Betty gets into a bit of a tiff with the sponsor of the dog show, the one who's got the bad dog food, Cheapy. And there's a public scene, so then now Aunt Betty looks like the person who might have wanted to kill. I forget his name. Oh, Gary Swenson, I think is his name.
Jerry.
Jerry.
With a G.
Thank you. Oh my
Close enough.
This
I
is
didn't
what
think-
I always dread. I'm like,
Yep.
what color are the rest?
I know, right. I'm not sure that the British do Gary instead of Jerry.
Right.
It's like jail with a G-O-A-L as opposed to jail. We're definitely divided by a common language.
Oh,
There is no question about it.
Definitely.
Right.
Don't
So
get
anyway,
banned.
that is the hook upon which Rachel, who actually is not a cop and has no particular sleuthing credentials, gets into working the case. Now, that's a hallmark of a cozy mystery, right? That a person who actually has no business investigating a crime,
Well,
investigating,
we're
winds up doing it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Well,
That's why most of them are comedies, because the other series is cupcakes, and death, because that makes sense. At least the library, there's maybe you're a busybody because you're a librarian. There's some librarians here.
or least you're used to policing.
Yeah,
Policing unruly,
investigating,
you
getting
know.
answers. Makes
papers.
sense. But baking cupcakes, stumbling over dead people, making hats, stumbling over dead people.
Making chocolate, making candles,
So then it was like one
carving
throwing
boards.
a dog. Yeah.
Right.
Dog
So
and a hat.
let's talk a little bit about, because we actually said everything we should actually say about the book.
Unless you
without
want to
reading.
know do you want to know the killers?
Probably not. Right. So, cozy mystery has become, there's a very big difference between the British definition of a cozy and the American definition. P.D. James would tell you, and did tell us when she was here, that she writes cozies. And maybe River. But to the British, she does write cozies. To Americans, it has become a genre of its own, sort of like romance, right? In that sense. And there's a Joanne Fluke who's coming to see us. And by the way, you don't want to miss it because Arcadia Farms is catering the cake, the coconut cake. She only does events here. So she sent a thing about what her structure of a cozy. What is a cozy? Which I thought was a little bit rigid, but nonetheless, what do you? Because you're kind of the cozy queen at the moment. What is it that you think? I know I'm trying to give you a chance to be royal.
I forgot my tiara.
Right.
That's what I should have worn. To me, cozies are a normal world turned upside down by a bad incident. So it's your quiet town, it's your safe space, it's your happy neighbors and friends, and then a horrible dead body.
Does it have to have a female as the sleuth?
No, I don't
See,
think so.
I agree with you, but I have been badgered around by my current publisher, and all who said it can only be women.
Really?
You can only have a woman being the sleuth in a cozy for the most part, which
I had never heard that.
well,
But it is definitely.
I tried that out on a couple.
But like Miranda James with his Liberian.
No, it's not the writer. It has to be the sleuth in the book.
Yeah, but the sleuth in
Charlie
the book is Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Well,
Diesel
good
really
point.
runs the show on that
Yeah.
one.
That's true.
It's really more the cat.
Yeah, I don't know if there are rules about cats or.
There are.
I
Or-
always thought that
Covered,
Philip
yeah.
R. Craig's Martha's Vineyard series was a little bit more cozy-ish. Because he was the caretaker, going to like people's holiday homes, taking care of it. Ex-cop.
It would never fly today as a cozy. So there's that's part of the question. Is a cozy? I read a reader's review of your book, and she was ruffled because there was some profanity in it which she did not expect. I know. It was probably not even a lot. But anyway, so there can be.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah. So, among all the things that define cozy, does there have to be an absence of profanity? Does there have to be an absence of actual sex? Does there have to be
Yes,
descriptive
yes,
sex anyway? Does there have to be an absence of blood and gore on the page, so to speak?
Oh yeah, I think there's the standard things are it's a small community. I didn't know about female sleuths, but I definitely think it probably is predominantly female sleuths.
Yeah, no, it's predominantly. Yeah, I
And
agree.
the bad language, yeah, that's the hand slap. Sex, oh my god, no, that never happens. It's like all off the
People
page.
can get engaged and have children,
Yes,
but
yes.
somehow or other,
But
it's
you
all
have
like
no idea how that
artificial insemination, right?
And then what's interesting about cozies is they'll stumble. Like in mine, it's like they'll find a body. Like I think even in the first hat shop, she was stabbed in her closet. There's blood everywhere. I mean, they're stepping on a blood-soaked carpet. But because you didn't actually see the
See it.
stabbing, you weren't in anybody's like the killer or the victim's
Right.
perspective. It's off the page, so it's just the body's already cold or whatever. So that's okay, and that makes it more cozy. But other than that, I think, and you read so much. The noir or the darker mysteries, it's like you are in the killer's head sometimes. You do see the actual murder, and a lot of them, you already know who did it. It's just proving who did it. So it's a different, like in cozies, I don't think you ever know who did it. Like our job is to try and fool you. No
So
pressure.
basically, it's a fair play mystery. It's more.
a puzzle.
And it's generally a murder mystery. It's not a thriller, and it's not
Right.
like The Sting or Caper, or a robbery or something along those lines,
Yeah.
for sure. But it seems to me, you know, you can't really have a professional like a cop in a cozy, can you?
No, I think
Not
what
even as
most
the
they do
lead
is
character, but you have to have a cop at the end because
Yeah.
the lead character, the chocolatier,
can't carry them away.
can't actually arrest anybody, so you're forced to have.
Well, that's the cops are either, like in my case, the uncle, the boyfriend, the cousin, you know, whatever. You have to have someone that they can, you know,
That's right.
pull in.
Lord
sideways.
Peter Wimsey, it was his brother-in-law. Miss Marple had her nephew. You know, Poirot had Inspector Japp, and then he had Hastings, and you know, an amateur sleuth has to have some kind of
Yeah.
professional. But in a cozy, you know, the lead sleuth is never going to be an actual
No.
law enforcement professional, right?
Well, and even like a lot of your thrillers, it's usually, I mean, it's, you know, you have police procedurals,
Right.
but then you have, you know, it's a detective, or it's a reporter, or it's, you know, military guys, you know.
Or a
you
lawyer,
have those- Yeah,
or-
lawyers
yeah.
are big. Oh,
Right.
lawyers are huge.
All kinds of stuff like that.
So,
No, true. The thing that always really is a problem for me with the cozy, because I have this logical mind, is that the money never works. And it never works because if you are running a small business and you just like close it to go out sleuthing. I had a really brisk discussion with Joan Hess one time, you know, because her character, remember in Arkansas, had a bookstore, and the bookstore was never doing well. I said, of course it's never doing well because she's never there. There's always, you know, a little sign on the door, gone sleuthing. You know? So, you know, if you think about it, if you set up all these small businesses, whether it's the cupcake shop or the hat shop or the bookshop or the chocolate bake or whatever, it doesn't make any economic sense for this person, you know, to be solving crimes somewhere else. So apparently, financing is not a part of a plot, right?
well, this is where you do sideways things like, okay, so I got that criticism on the first cupcake book.
Yeah.
You know, I'm writing a comedy here, people. Give me a break.
Right.
And this lady was just like, no, this bakery, no, it wouldn't survive. They're never in the shop. They're always running around Scottsdale. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, fair point. So, thus, we have Marty come in, and then Oz.
Right.
So I started writing in, and then it was great because they actually busted out more reasons for murder, and so it was that was a good move. I owe that person a thank you.
There's an additional problem. One is, you know, how is there enough money for the sleuth to, you know, run a business? But the other point is that to really have a cute and picturesque small town on the shores of Lake Michigan, where a person has come from Chicago to engage in making artisanal chocolate, there's only 40 people who live in the town. And so what's the actual market for the artisanal chocolate? And that's actually, to me, almost the bigger problem.
See, you're such a business owner.
Just always the lawyer in me. But
Suspend disbelief.
right, but that's my point, is to really enjoy cozies, you do have to suspend
Well, we
disbelief.
have to work in stuff like, okay, so if that was presented to me as a problem, I would be like, well, honey, tourist season is 2 months, and they work their little butts off for 2 months, and then they coast for 10. And that's when they find dead bodies and solve murder.
So you've been up to Carefree and Cave Creek and talked to them, right? Although now that it's more year-round, but it didn't used to be that way. When I opened this store 30 years ago, I thought I wouldn't be open in the summer, right? Or I would close on Sundays in the summer. Never happened. I mean, never happened, you know, but that was my original thought, was that surely there won't be any business,
Summer,
you know.
yeah.
I know, it's summer in Phoenix, you know, so how bad, well,
I come here.
as I said, it was a dream. never worked out.
We destroyed it.
Yeah, there we go. But anyway, you know, I think cozies is really interesting because some people put a really restrictive, you know, set of a design in place, and then other people are looser with it.
Yeah, pretty loose, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that your point is that you're really writing comedy
Mostly.
is a good point, because comedy all by itself, you know, kind of breaks normal boundaries and isn't logical.
Oh, you've already suspended disbelief, if you know what I mean? Like, there's a
Yeah.
dog in a hat, you know? I mean,
Okay, but here's the interesting part of Jenn. Librarians, I used to be one. In fact, I'm going back to the Library of Congress for a whole big thing in May. Librarians are generally characterized as persons who have a rage for order. I mean, that is a classic definition of a librarian. So here's Jenn, a librarian, writing cozies. there's a dichotomy there.
I have a lot of rage. And not necessarily for order.
Was this engendered by working at the library?
Well, you know, you're a public servant for 20 years. You got a list. I'm working through it.
That's really funny. You know, back in my day, you got a master's degree in library science if you wanted to be a librarian. Today, what is it called today? I'm trying to remember.
Information studies.
Yes, information studies or information science. So the library part's kind of gone away. When I was in Seattle a year ago last summer, Rob and I went to the Seattle Public Library just because we like going to libraries. The first 3 floors, there was not a sign of a book. It was all computers. It was all automated checkout. You could, just like Amazon, you could actually order your books and they would be delivered to a little locker or a slot or something with your name. You could come into the library and collect your books and go away, never having a moment of human interaction. I mean, it was amazing. This is Seattle.
That
So.
sounds kind of ideal to me, but
I know.
I might be on the other side of it.
You know, but I mean, part of the fun, you know, of being a library patron is to go in and talk to like real people, librarians, you know, and get
What's that Neil
recommendations
Gaiman?
and all.
Neil Gaiman has that great quote. It's like, Google will give you 100,000 answers and a librarian will give you the right one.
I really like that.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
it is a good one. All right, so rumor has it that this might be the last of the headshot mysteries. Can that really
You know,
be
I
true?
thought the one before this one was the last one, so
we're not sure.
I'm not going to say anything. And then I thought the last cupcake was the last cupcake. No, we just got an offer for 2 more, so maybe somebody will actually get married. No, every time I think I have a plan, the publisher changes it, so I'm just going to be like, whatevs. We're writing this, we're writing that.
So you've written now a couple of romances, right?
I have 2 romance series.
Yeah. And how's that different than writing cozies?
Well, for me, they're still comedies. It's harder because
Is it?
It is because I've written about 40 mysteries,
Okay.
and you get really good at having a dead body move a plot along.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this is my editor and I fight a lot because I'm not very good at torturing my characters. And I think the last conversation we said, she and I had, I said, I don't like conflict. I don't like it personally. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't like being at odds, and I don't like making my characters be at odds. That's why it's comedy. We tell a joke, we move on. And she just looked at it. She said something like, she's like, so you are the hero from your last book.
That was really insightful.
I am. Because he's just, you know, a funny guy who just, like, we have to have ups. I don't like being upset. So for me, romance was really hard because you have to have authentic conflict,
Right.
and I don't like
Well, you
that.
have to complicate. I mean, the basic plot is boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy wins girl, or oppositely, girl meets boy, girl loses boy, girl wins boy. So in order for all that to happen, you do have to end up with complications or conflict in order for them
And I
to
don't
split
like
up
a lot
and then
of them.
coalesce.
Because there's tropes, you know, just like in cozies, there's tropes. In romance, there's tropes. It's like the forgotten baby, whatever that is, or the, you know, other woman, or the misunderstand. I hate all that stuff. So it's like I'm trying to, or you know, I just can't deal with it. So I'm trying to have like authentic conflict, but not torture my characters too much, but make it realistic they'd be apart, even though I hate it the whole time. I mean, it's like it's not.
Did writing
Awesome.
romance in any way change the way that you write your cozies? Did you learn anything from it that you brought to the other writing?
I think I learned a little bit from both. I think learning how to plot mysteries helped me with my conflict issues in romance, because I knew when the conflict had to hit. I knew how they had to behave, you know, maybe a little bit better. And in the cozies, I think writing the romances helped me open up my characters a little bit more. Like, instead of having them be sleuth predominantly, they could be a sleuth with, you know, a broken heart, or they could have the relationship is a subplot for them. And I'm going to say this, I'm calling out all the mystery readers, because when I said I was going into romance, I had a lot of mystery fan readers who were just like, I don't read romance. And I was like, really? Because you've been bugging me about that couple in that mystery series for 10 books. So I'm calling out the mystery readers because they are invested in the relationships.
I think that's absolutely true. But maybe the conflict in romance just isn't sufficiently gripping for them, and what
They
they
need a
want
dead
is
body.
a higher stake. Well, they just want a higher stake, and maybe they also like the investigative process, you know, because it is a process, you know. I mean, investigation, you start somewhere, and you have to go, you know, to somewhere, to the end.
Yeah.
And so it's more, I don't want to say charitable, that can't be a verb, but, you know.
It's a good one. I like it.
All right, so it's my verb. So, but it is. I mean, you can, you know, chart your way along through the book. And, you know, when you're reading a really good mystery and you're getting to the end and there just aren't enough pages left, that just happened to me with the new Donna Leon book. I mean, I got like 3 pages to go, and I thought, there is no way she's wrapping this up. And in fact, I'm right, because she only wrapped up only a very small part of it. And I think it's because this book will be out in March. I'm pretty sure that she has basically given up on Italy actually
Really?
punishing criminals. You know, there's corruption is so endemic. She's moved to Switzerland, so.
Oh, okay.
And the other part is that Venice has become so totally overrun by tourists that it's almost uninhabitable. And that runs through this book too. There's a big thread of anger about, you know, what it's done to the city and so forth.
That's a great series, by the way.
It is.
Have you all read
They're
that?
absolutely wonderful books. But my point is, as a mystery reader, as I'm arriving at like 3 pages to go, and you know, I'm just like, I know this is not going to be a traditional kind of wrap up here, you know, and in fact, it isn't. But you can tell that just by the number of pages. Why I can't read anything electronically. You just can't get that in an electronic file. You know, your Kindle doesn't go beep beep. You know, there's only like 20 words left. You know, word to word.
How many minutes left in the chapter though?
And percentage. It does percentage.
Yeah.
That does nothing for me. I read so fast that however many minutes it have, I'd already be done with the
Get
book.
it just to your reading speed. Because I'm a fast
You're
I am never going to read on a Kindle, so it's okay. You can sell me on its virtues, but it's not happening. But yay! No, it's all to do with how your memory functions, and I can actually go back and see the pages. That if I need to find something, I can see it. I can't do that electronically. My mind just doesn't. I have an eidetic memory, and it doesn't work electronically. It just doesn't. So.
I wonder if that's a librarian thing. Because I can see
I don't know, it's a great editing thing, you know, because I'm working along and I go, whoa, he already said that back here. Or wait, we're in Boston and now we're in Cincinnati, and how did that happen? And, you know, but it does make it hard to read something just for fun. It's hard for me to read for fun anymore. Not much. I was hoping for Donna Leon to be fun. Didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. Actually, she's a wonderful writer. I'm a huge admirer. I collect her. I have every book she's ever written. Many of them autographed to me, all British editions, so I'm a big fan.
Yeah, me too.
Not dissing her because,
Yeah, no.
it's just that,
She's changing her.
well, she's evolving as a writer and a person, and her love affair has always been Venice. You know, that's what she loves in that. Venice is the main character in those books. I mean, I like Bernetti and I like all the rest of
I do
it,
too.
but it's really about Venice. And what's happened is she's soured on Venice.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
she's
there's a
finding
lot
other
happening.
ways. But a couple books ago, she wrote one that was all about the lagoons and everything outside of Venice. That was a fabulous book because that was still a happy place for her. She still loved that. And
I wonder if I think most writers have like setting issues because your settings do change. You know, even in Scottsdale, it's like the development here.
I know.
Eventually, I have
That
to deal
hotel
with
over there, you know, I can't tell you how many people have said to me, romance alert, cozy alert, beep beep. But what is that monstrosity over there? And the person who cuts my hair is in a building right next to it, and the rumor in the building is that the hotel just went ahead and built it up higher and paid a fine because it's too tall. You know, I don't know that that's true. Believe me, if
It's
you
a
go
good
home and
rumor,
say,
though.
Robert Peters said that, you know. So,
I may have to take notes. This is like a plot. Waiting.
right. But you do have to ask yourself how they got away with building something that high right opposite, you know, the Museum of the West, and what it does to the whole atmosphere of downtown. Really changes with
Which
that.
is pretty much what Donna Leon was dealing with. I mean, Venice is changing. Well, and the
Yeah.
corruption in Italy is bubbling. And I mean, Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard.
Change.
You know, even Robert Parker's Boston is no longer. If you go back and read early Spencer, some of the landmarks that he talks about, they're gone. I mean, they are totally gone. You know, the restaurant that he loved, what was it called? Lagover, is no longer there anymore. The bookstore in Harvard Square, not there anymore. Cities change all the time. You know, urban renewal is like that. And so if you're reading a long-running series where like Chicago and Sarah Paretsky or Boston with Spencer or whatever it is, Los Angeles, you know, the city's changing all around you
It's
all
also
the time.
the time frame of the characters, though, because when I look at when I started writing all my series, I always started thinking the series were going to end. So I tried to wrap them up in like 3, and then I was like, oh, we're doing more. Oh, okay, breaking the couple up. That's why that happens, just so you know.
Right.
And then the other thing that happens too, though, is the time frame. I try to write when I know the book is going to come. Now I'm doing. Like the cupcake books always come out in April, but when I was first writing them, they'd come out every 9 months. So I tried to figure out,
The
so that
seasons,
means it's going to come out in May, so I need to write in May. Well, someone criticized something like, oh, why haven't these people gotten it together? We've been reading these books for 10 years, and a reviewer was just like, well, it's 10 years for us, but it's 2.5 years. Because I kind of space them every 3 months. You know, so they're
Which is really a good idea, because if you write them the other way, everybody gets too old way too fast. And so Nevada Bar and I had that conversation. Where's Anna Pidgeot, you might say, if you're a Nevada Bar reader. And the truth is, she aged her in real time, so to speak. And she can't do. She's too old. She's too fragile, you know, now to do the kind of stuff when she was like squirming around a Lechuguilla, you know, underground or dropping off cliffs into whatever it is. You know, Anna at 55 can't do that.
Done that, right? She's not staying in real time, is she?
No.
So.
No. And a lot of people.
And then the technology kind of screws you up too.
Yeah, well, technology's a whole interesting thing. It doesn't really come into play in cozies to a huge degree, other than dismantling. I mean, disabling cell phones is probably your biggest. I have a really simple advice for people. I see them agonizing. It'll be the battery died, or I couldn't find my charger, or ways to sort of take a cell phone out of the picture. Here's my advice: don't take it with you. If you leave your cell phone at home, they can't track you. Nobody can call you. Right. You know, all these things. Somehow or other, we've all gotten to the point where we feel like it's staple to us. You know, we are not dressed. We cannot leave home if we don't have our phone.
And if I don't have my phone, I start to freak out.
Well, and that happened to me last week. Doug Preston and I were going to meet in the bar at Virtue. I had to run back to the store. He was checking into the inn. I said, I'll text you when I get back. I'll meet you in the bar. Or I'll text you when I get back. Where shall we meet? Whatever. Anyway, so I came back. I went back. I texted him. Nothing happened. So I sat down by the fire. They brought me a drink because they take good care of me. I texted some more. Nothing ever happened. And it's getting really late. And we were supposed to go to dinner. And I thought, where's Doug? So finally I got up and I thought, maybe he's... And he was just coming out of the bar. And he said, my battery died. And I thought, why didn't I get up and go into the bar and go look for him like 15 minutes ago? And the reason is that I thought, you expect people have a phone and it actually works, right? So it didn't occur to me to actually get up and go into the bar. And I thought, how dumb is that?
My brain spasm is that I will go to the movies and I'll put it on mute.
And then you forget.
And 4 days go by.
Right, exactly.
And then there's all these problems. But not so much because they've solved themselves.
That's really good.
But
my husband over here, there's an app where you can mute your phone and it turns it back on. You just set the time. And but that's a really good thing, So you put it on mute, and at 10:08, whatever time you set, it comes off mute, which is really the only. Because I too have done that, where days go by and I think, gosh, nobody loves me, and then it turns out, and then you open it, like 200 emails come flying by you, and you think, oh no.
Yes, it's bad.
But in general, in cozies, it's not a high tech.
Yeah, there's not a lot of high tech. Well, because the jobs aren't high tech. They're knitting or crocheting or library. Well, libraries are high tech, but it's a smaller. It's more contained. It's the chocolatier, the cupcake baker. They don't have time to be on their phones. They're not Instagram.
So really, if you think about it, they're a lovely escape, right? A nice escape for modern life. You can go to be a happy, comfortable place, and you don't have to deal with Doug not answering his phone, or you know, whatever else might be going on. And you know, I truly, it's interesting to me. You'd think that romance readers and mystery readers would actually, cozy readers would actually be kind of the same pool, but they're not. So I wonder why. How many of you who read cozies also read romance? Any of you do that?
Only Jen's.
Okay.
Oh.
So do you feel like it's different when you're reading romance?
No, but I read everything. So.
Yeah.
I know, I do too. So, you know, but I'm just curious because some people are just rigid about, you know, I won't read romance, or I won't read this, or, you know,
Like that.
I won't read books if they're by men, or I won't read books if they're by women, or, you know, and I always think, why?
Yeah.
You know, what a shame.
I think it's so much of it is, I think it is a shame because I think it's the author's voice. Like you'll get that recommendation from a friend, like, this is the best book I've ever read. You have
Right.
to read it, and then you read it, and you're like, and I have to reassess our whole relationship.
Yeah, right. It's like wine, you
But the
know.
voice meant something to them, but it just didn't click with me.
I know.
So.
But it really is like wine. You know, you can sit down and, you know, every 3 people at the table, one person can like it and, you know, 2 other people hate it. Or whatever, or beer,
It's
or
wine, really?
or Brussels sprouts. Every time I go out, everyone at the table wants Brussels sprouts. I gag at the very thought of a Brussels sprout due to childhood trauma, which I've never overcome. So, you know, I mean,
More material, hang on.
the Brussels sprouts mystery, here it comes.
What's for childhood trauma?
Oh, but I'll tell you the story because it's really. I'm so old that we lived in a house that had what used to be an icebox instead of the refrigerator. This is in Chicago. There was a coal chute in the basement, you know. This was in the 50s. And there was the refrigerator sat in what was originally the icebox where the ice guy would come and, you know, open up in the back and shove the block of ice in it, the whole bit. So it was in its own little alcove, and I sat next to the alcove. My father had this thing about Brussels sprouts, and he also wouldn't let anybody leave the table until they completely cleaned their plate. So I early on developed a technique with a spoon where I would just take the Brussels sprout, go, and it would go behind the refrigerator. And this worked for me for years until we sold the house and moved to a new house, and they came to pull away the refrigerator, and it was a compost heap. It was like 6 years of Brussels sprouts behind the refrigerator. I mean, he almost killed me. He didn't speak to me for weeks afterward. So I've never gotten past that.
Yeah,
It's just like the whole Brussels, you know, we're marked by our childhoods. We really are. Yeah, you just see me going, this is so handy.
Mine was, we had, you know, like the old farmer tables, and my thing was zucchini.
Okay. Slimy, right? Or
It's just
okra.
gross. There's no excuse for zucchini. I just But we had, you know, wooden chairs, and then we had the cushion.
Right.
I would slide those slices of zucchini between the cushion and the chair.
That's even more gross than behind the refrigerator.
Because it was my seat. Thankfully, my dad or my parents had planted a garden, and we had a lot of zucchini. And it got to the point where even my parents didn't like it. Like, you know, you have the bag of zucchini, and the neighbors are running.
Right.
So
Like
the next
grapefruit
year,
here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, oranges. The next year, they decided to diversify, but they didn't tell my brothers over there. He can testify. They didn't tell us that it was watermelon, pumpkins, cantaloupe. So he and I, being ever the crafty children, decided as soon as these things blossomed, we picked the blossom and we threw them in the river. So my dad spent all this time, I don't know what's eating my vines. I don't know what's happening to these squash blossoms. It's got to be some kind of critter. Oh, it was a critter. And then later, years ago, we finally confessed. My dad was like, that was watermelon and pumpkin. And we were like, oh.
You've got material for endless books.
We were bad children. There's a lot
You
of
know, you could do like the whole vegetable series.
farmers market.
No, the Brussels sprout, the watermelon, the pumpkin series would be absolutely great.
Cushion.
Right. So give us a little preview of your Paris book, which comes out in July.
Oh, very excited about that one. I'm going to back it up a little bit because I have to do a public disclaimer.
Okay.
The April book is the next cupcake book. Right. And there will be more after that. That's been verified. So yay. But the title is Pumpkin Spice Peril. And
April.
yes.
Boo. It's an October book, right? Any of us knew that.
And my editor even said, she's like, we're going to get pushback for this title in April. And I'm like, well, just tell them the pumpkin spice thing's starting in April this year.
Not at Starbucks.
Christmas is in July now, right? I mean, they've rolled it back so far. So brace yourselves for that. But the cover's really cute if you like pumpkins. So anyway, so that one comes out in the end of April. And then the Paris book is called Paris is Always a Good Idea. And that one comes out at the end of July. And I'm super excited. It's kind of my first standalone women's fiction. Totally a comedy. But it's more the journey of a woman who finds out her dad's getting remarried to a woman he's only known for 2 weeks. And because it's me, of course, she won him in a silver fox bachelor auction. It has to be ridiculous. So when she finds out he's getting remarried, she kind of freaks out, like, how can you do this? Mom's memory, because mom had died 7 years before from cancer. And the father kind of calls her out, like, why can't you be happy for me? And she's like, because it's been 2 weeks and it takes longer to get a biopsy than this, you know, whatever. And he says, you know, I miss the Chelsea that you used to be. So she kind of gets challenged to consider when she was last happy. And she realized it was her year abroad, her gap year, where she fell in love with 3 different men. So her sister challenges her to go back on her gap year, find those guys, and try to find her happiness again. So it was an excuse to go to Ireland and Paris. Just kidding.
You absolutely blew it by taking your 2 teenage kids along.
Yes, I did.
You
Yes,
know,
yes,
how
I did.
romantic can Paris be when you're dragging teenagers? Really?
That was a bad move, yeah. And the funny thing is, I told her, I'm going to Paris, I'm going to take my boys. And she was like, why would you do that?
It was too late. She already bought the plane tickets to talk any sense into her.
It was, and I
So-
came back at him and said, you were so right.
Hey, it was a bonding experience. You will look back
It
on.
was.
No, it was.
Well,
It
I always
was.
had the Eiffel Tower. And
Yeah, it was a good mom thing.
That was a good month.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is with teenagers, you know, at the time, it's the 17, 19-year-old belly aching, blah, blah, blah. And now if you ask them about Paris, they're like, oh, Paris was amazing. Maybe for you, kid.
You're bound to go back.
No, I will. And next time I'll go with someone more fun.
I won't even ask who that might be. But we know. So I think that we should get a story of the hats before we come to a decision about who has the
Yes,
best
that's
hat.
a really good idea.
So I will start. I found this hat walking around in Budapest. No, sorry, Bucharest. Wrong country. Budapest is Hungary. Bucharest is Romania. Right. A great hat shop. And it's a little travel hat because you can, and all the rest of it. So I really love the colors, and I also think it's way too young for me, but I don't care. So anyway, that's my hat story. So let's start over here.
Let's hear it.
The lady in the green hat, who's you. Yep. Keeps hiding. Right.
I thought this was brown.
I think it's surely it is. It's green, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. Army green.
Now she just found out she's colorblind. So just need a
People
notebook.
say when I wear this hat, I'm psychic, but I don't know what color it is.
All right.
I liked it.
So what's the story of your hat?
I feel like a female Indiana Jones in it.
Nice.
Excellent.
I like that. Hey, you guys gonna have to sell your hats to me, so it'll be hard.
Bought it.
Nice.
Because of that.
Okay.
I like that. I can hear the theme in my head now.
Okay. I love your pink hat. Did you put the ribbons on yourself?
Yes, I did.
It's fabulous.
Actually, I really did it for tomorrow because my husband lives in a facility and they're having
Oh.
a Valentine's celebration.
Oh, that's
And I thought I
perfect.
would dress up. So it's a 2 foot, but usually I buy these hats to go up to the English Rose.
Oh, and tea free.
Let's give a shout out to the English Rose Tea Room because it's absolutely adorable. And not only do they have a fabulous tea, but they have a killer plowman's. Do you know what a plowman is? You know, the English cheese with the yeah. And really, it's a lovely operation.
And if you don't have a hat, they have hats for you.
That's right. I have a whole
Very
trunk full of
handy,
hats
yes.
right opposite the women's bathroom where the mirror is.
Every January she takes her mother-in-law and me because our birthdays are in January.
Right.
To there, and this year we went later than we usually did, and there was an art and wine thing.
Oh.
We had a wonderful time.
She's not my mother-in-law anymore, but I still take her.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's tea time.
It's daytime, you know.
It's a long way to go, but it's really worth the trip. And it's an afternoon thing.
The
And,
quiche is marvelous there.
and don't drop in, call ahead because
that's right.
it's very small and you could be disappointed. All right, back in the back there, the Fascinator. I love your hat. Where's that come from?
This is her hat.
All four of them are my hats.
All four.
Very
Very
nice.
Very
They're,
nice.
yeah, they're all my hats. This one I bought last year for my Halloween costume. I went as a skeleton. I had like a little a gangster outfit on for it too. So I got a cane. I got a little one of those older fashioned that has a cigar holder. So I had that. It actually work. I didn't use it. I swear. But that's where that one came from. This one I bought at another costume shop so I could wear it. Well, so I could force my choir teacher to wear it for her birthday. So she wore it for 4 years while I was in high school. Every year on her birthday, I wore it on my birthday a couple times. This one we bought in Carmel at this tiny, actually a small little hat shop.
Really?
Yeah, it's the coolest little place. They sold these steampunk hats. Loved them to death, but they were $150, and I
Ouch.
was 14. I was like 14 at the time, so I was really, really sad. So my dad went and said, "We like the Mad Hatter. I love Alice in Wonderland, so that's also why." So he bought me this one instead. That one I bought. They're all from different costume stores. Actually, all three of these are different. This one I bought with some friends because loved Alice in Wonderland.
That was Halloween.
Yeah.
Mad Hatter's hat. It's great. Is it
It
heavy?
was, because
Is it
that
heavy?
was my favorite Halloween.
Not too bad.
I mean, I wondered because it's so big whether it was really weighing you down.
No, you
No,
have like
it's
a little
actually quite light.
waist.
Is it?
It has like an elastic waist that you can pull so it'll
Yeah.
fit your head.
It's on it's on
adjustable.
wires, right? To,
Yeah.
To keep
But
it
yeah, I
up
bought
there.
all of them because my bonus grandma, so her bonus mom, bought me a book of like the older fashioned Alice in Wonderland book. And I read it as a girl, so I ended up wanting to get all the hats.
Absolutely. Nice.
Sounds great. All right. So, Mary there.
I got this at Victorian Trading because I love Victorian era.
Oh, nice.
And it's there was one in black, but I like red, and it had the roses, and it has the.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's really nice.
So,
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very nice.
It's hunting or.
I love it.
When they went on the, in London where they go traveling with their horses and they go
Sure.
riding.
Oh, the high
And I-
court thread,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I've worn it for like Derby Day,
Oh, nice.
I love it. I think the Victorians would have worn that fabulous shade of red. I mean, they were all more about, yeah.
Yeah, but you do need a horse.
You did. Right. All right. And now we have this pretty feather concoction over here.
These are both from my grandmother's collection.
Oh, that's really nice. And down there on the end.
This is an old hat from the 70s, but I have already read that book, so I have my little dog.
Oh. Wow.
So
That's
I
a,
just put it together.
we have to get a photo of the book and the dog in the hat. Right. Absolutely perfect. Well,
Well, yeah, hello.
you think that's the obvious winner, do you? All right.
Oh, wait.
Whoa, I'm sorry.
What's your Bookstore?
Sorry, I'm used to you with quilts, not hats.
I know.
I beg your
Maybe
pardon.
the hat. This is an ordinary hat, but the story behind it is not ordinary. My husband's family bought furniture for him when he was like 5, and I just refinished all of that furniture for my grandson. And then I wasn't about to trust it to a moving company, so I figured out how it would fit my car before I refinished it, so that when I put it in there, I would do it no damage. And I drove it up there, and I drove home by myself, and we stopped at, we went up one way, and we came home a different way, and we stopped at this one tourist place, and I found a really pretty shirt, but it was too cold to wear because it's a summer shirt. And then we stopped at another place, and I found the hat, and the hat matched the shirt. And then I took the shirt to Paris last year, And I got lots of smiles and comments. Anybody who spoke English loved it, and a lot of people who spoke French just loved seeing someone walking around Paris with hats. So that's the story of her.
That's a lovely story. I like that. You've done a lot of family things because you have family quilts too. I remember when you did the quilt thing, you had a wonderful, yeah. Wow, that's so nice.
It's a rag quilt now, but
Is that? That's great.
It's so fragile, but
Well, thank you for sharing it with us. That's really lovely.
I still have to get it to the dog.
All right. So, bonus points. All right. I said that we were going to have a prize. And so you are getting an invitation that says you are cordially invited to tea with Jackie Winsper and Reese Bowen on March 19th at 2 o'clock at Arcadia Farms. 19 other people can buy tickets. But you get to come as our guest, so it'll be really fun. Jackie is going to be our 2020 writer in residence. So she's coming over to host an event with Nancy Turner. Any of you read a glorious book called These Is My Words? One of my, well, this is the same Nancy Turner, lives in Pinedale. So Jackie's going to do a program with her on Tuesday the 17th, and then she's going to teach a writer's workshop on the 18th, and then she and Reese are going to have tea together with 20 of you, or possibly more, but probably 20 on the 19th. So it's really exciting. So I will give you this. And thank you, PK, for printing it up. It looks beautiful. Wow. All right. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank our video audience for joining us this evening. And I want to thank